So you decide to join the program. Around what time was that? And then walk us through kind of like your experience through foundations. Like, did it take you a long time? Were you scared? Were you like frustrated? Were you like, oh, maybe I made the wrong choice? Like, what was your feeling, right, as you're going through that first program?
Yeah. So it started in May 2021, and I remember a big thing. Like I was working part time, so it was a big commitment to like commit to this program because I think it was 1,200 at the time. And I remember like that was a lot of money. Like that was like months and months worth of like what I was getting paid back then. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna just put it in and see what happens. So immediately that was my first thing. Like I was making a big purchase. I was very anxious to see like would it meet my expectations. When I opened the course, there was just like 18 different lessons. And I was like, all right, this is gonna take a long time. So for me, that's like a good sign. There's a lot of content here. It was like the right content because like on my phone it was all kinds of stuff, but here it was very step by step. This is exactly what you need. You can look for anything else if you need. But I started it. Um, I think it was really good that it started at the UX research. Like that was your initial phase because like
Yeah.
that was like comfort to me. Like that was like right where I like started. So for me to go straight into
Yeah.
research and read a lot of these articles and see the process, like all these terms were familiar to me. So for me, that was like, all right, that's a good, connection. I at least understand, this part. And so from there, I got into the course. I think it took me about 8 weeks to finish it, because school and I was working. But I remember I would take this, I would do these lessons and like the independent project. I think like every night at like 6 to like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Like that was just like my favorite part of my day. And that's when I realized like, all right, there might be something here because like I just worked and went to school, but I'm looking forward to working more on like this new thing. And
Yeah.
like that was just like my regular everyday routine, which is going on Avocademy, going on Slack and just like that to me like I was learning something I really wanted to learn. Um, and yeah, I just kept going at it. I think learning curves came with the Figma learning definitely, and the like design theory, um, color theory, like fonts, like all the stuff that I never really like went into. Um, that was definitely intimidating at the time, but it wasn't like super like the articles that we were reading and like what we were doing weren't that difficult. Like they were like at the level that you needed it to be. But I think the biggest thing was like the mentoring in between, um, and then like the support of like you don't need to have a perfect project. The point is that you're executing what you're learning and getting feedback and iterating on it. So right there, like I was already getting comfortable with design critiques and kind of understanding like like no one's saying your design is bad. It's like the problem or the way you're solving your problem can improve. Like that's where
Yeah.
like that delineation like separated, and I started to like lose the ego in my work. I think that was really important because that's one of the biggest things in design. Like you can't really be your work. You're solving a problem at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I did that. It took me a couple weeks longer, but when I finished it, it was like one of my favorite like moments. I definitely met a lot of people during that time. I had a lot of friends that like were my user testing, people
Yeah.
user interviews, and like to see that first project like finalized was definitely like a big moment where I was like, all right, like I could see myself doing this again and again and again.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Yeah, you touched on a lot of really important things, which I think looking back, you probably see it as that, but I'm sure like when you were in it and like you were getting those revision requests and like you were going over and over again, you were like, but it's good, why do I have to keep fixing it? But
yeah,
you really explained it in a way that like makes perfect sense. I think now when you look at it, right, like a year later.